Now I'm going to explain my third lesson plan from the second term. Um, the theme for the day will be film review, past tense, and past continuous. So we're going to watch a film and we're going to apply past tense and past continuous. This lesson plan will be for the third grade of high school, and it's going to last 45 minutes. The class's proficiency level will be B1.2. As always, we're going to have our class's objectives, and in this case, the objective of the class in listening will be that the students will be able to describe and find the difference of movie genres. In speaking, the students will be able to ask and answer questions about movies. In reading, the students will be able to make inferences. And in writing, the students will be able to write a film review and a mini biography. So here are the methodologies and strategies that we will use. The methodologies are two. The first one is audiolingual method and communicative language approach. There will be two strategies. The first strategy will be use verb tense and time expressions to follow the sequence of events. And pay attention to time expressions to follow the sequence of events. As always, we're going to have our anticipatory set, and in this case, the teacher asks the students about films they enjoyed. The teacher writes the answers on the board and asks them to jot down the reasons why they liked their films. He writes some of the sentences on the board and underlines the verbs. Okay, so here, the teacher is going to ask randomly each student, or maybe each student can participate, and he's going to ask which film each student has enjoyed. And he's going to let the students he's going to give them some time to write down their answers, write down quickly their answers of why they like this film. And they're going to share to the rest of the class. And this way, the teacher is going to write maybe the most common answers up on the board. And while he does that, he's going to underline the verb of each sentence. Okay, so for the warm-up activity, the teacher provides flashcards on verbs to some students. The teacher asks the students to not shout out the words, but only mimic them. After the mimic's been performed, the teacher asks the students what they were doing. So he's going to, the tutor is going to hand out to most of the class, all of the class, or some of the class. It depends on the tutor. It depends on the time, of course. Flashcards that have verbs like dance, jump, buy, things like that. He's going to give them, and the student that has the flashcard is going to try to mimic what the verb in the flashcard is, and the rest of the class is going to try to guess what the student is actually doing. And so this can be a fun activity to practice verbs. After this, the teacher shows the students a short clip called the Butterfly Circus. And here is where we practice audiolingual method and asks the students to jot down some of the main events on the movie. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have watched the Butterfly Circus, but it's a good film. And the teacher is going to show this to the class, and he's going to ask the class to write down the most important events that they think that the movie has. And this is, like I said before, this is where the audiolingual method can be seen. After that, some sentences are written on the board, both in simple past and in past continuous. And the teacher goes over the grammar structure of past tenses. So the teacher is going to write an example of in the past simple and in the past continuous. Maybe he can compare them. Maybe he can, talk about them grammarly, and he's going to explain how a sentence can be structured in the simple past, and how there's a difference with the structure of the past continuous. And he's going to try to explain that to his students so they can understand. So after this, the teacher asked the students to go over their notes and write whether they liked the movie or they did not like the movie, and they must explain. So after, they're going to write, of course, in the tenses that the teacher had explained, which is in this case past tense and past continuous. And they're going to remember the film, and they're going to say, I did not like the film, or I did like the film, and why. They're going to have to explain why they did, or why they did not like. Okay, so then the teacher asked the students to check each other's writings. So the students are going to exchange their writings, and they're going to read their peers' writings, and they're going to judge whether if it's good, if it's well structured, if the sentences are well structured, if it makes sense, if it has coherence, or if it does not. After this, and finally, the teacher forms groups where the students share the film review. And this is where we're going to look at communicative language approach. Again, I think sharing is really important, and interacting with with each other's classmates. So here, the teacher is going to form groups of students, and they're going to share their film reviews. Of course, not everyone is going to say I did like the movie, and not everyone is going to say I did not like the movie. So maybe they can talk about why their differences. Maybe one can explain I did not like this because of this, and maybe the other person's going to say, well, I did like it because of that, the same thing. Okay, so in modeling, the teacher describes through pictures his or her favorite film, including the reasons why he or she liked it. So, for example, the teacher is going to have maybe pictures of the film that they have enjoyed, and they're going to explain why. Why did they like that film? Because it's funny, because it's scary, because it's romantic, and things like that. In guided practice, the students answer the questions based on the butterfly circus clip, where they have to have the analysis, the grammar structure, and check answers together. So that is going to be the guided practice. The independent practice, the students share their film review to a peer. So they're going to share what they have written on their sheets, and they're going to, like I said, they're going to comment on each other. They're going to say, well, I don't agree with you. I think the film was awful. I think the film was great, and things like that. And in assessment, the teacher will assess the students through an observe. Like always, I've said, the teacher must have an observation checklist, and he's going to go over what the students have learned and if they put it into practice. And of course, if the students have any doubts, he's going to try to clear them up through this observation checklist. And this is it for my third lesson plan.